านประมาณหนึ่ง ก็ไม่ค่อยช่วยเท่าไหร่นั่นคือถ้าหลุดก็จะกลับมาค่ะ ทำได้เท่านั้น
Hello and welcome to the third live webinar of Bangkok Climate Change Hackathon. I'm 𝘾𝙖𝙖𝙠𝙤𝙠. I'll be your host today. We have been discussing a lot of things and in 4 themes of climate change that we're going to have during our hackathon in just 2 weeks. We're now just 2 weeks away and the application has already been closed. Anyone that already had a team, it's perfect time for you. For some of you that might not have yet have a team, this is a perfect time for you to start forming the team. Join our Facebook group, start forming the team and submit the team that you just formed and also your solutions. We learned a lot about clean tech, clean growth. We learned a lot about climate change, climate finance. At the same time, what the nature can provide for us to solve climate problem. And how can we adapt to the change that might be the impact of climate change? We have learned about a lot of things. But before you go and enter into our hackathon, there'll be another skill, another thing that we may want to discuss today. We're thrilled to start the session that's called Product Life Cycle Analysis, or LCA, and Life Cycle Design Strategy Wheels. Today we have Kevalin Saksiamkul, who is the co-founder of Shoeco. Many of you may have heard this name before. Some of you may just hear the name and scratch your head. What is it? It's actually a very cool product that instead of producing a lot of waste by brushing your tooth, you can just chill it and reduce one brush at a time. And we're very lucky to have Liu to talk to you through about the LCA analysis and also lit wield. คุณวิวครับ สวัสดีครับ And without further ado, I would love to invite Kevalin to introduce herself and start the session.
Sawadee ka. Hi everyone. I'm Liu. Thank you for having me here today. Sawadee ka. Can you hear me properly? I think my connection is a little bit slow.
That's all right. I think today we're going to discuss about a lot of awesome things, and having you here is one of the amazing things we can do right now. Especially a lot of teams will have to use it for sure.
Please
go ahead.
Bring up my slide. All right.
Do you think we can see your slide right now? Okay.
I believe I already shared the screen.
Yes.
Could you please bring it up?
We see.
All right, that's great. So first, I guess I would have to start from All right. All right. I guess I will have to start from introducing myself because all you guys know is about my name and the name of my product. So let me share a little bit about my background. I am a designer, and I'm one of the 5 co-founders of alternative toothpaste tab called Shoeco. But what is this alternative toothpaste tab is about? So basically what Shoeco does is pretty simple. We offer a choice for consumers who actually want to cut down their own footprint. And Shoeco toothpaste tab is packed in small tabs and contained in glass jar, which we sell in retail stores. But we also offer the tabs on a refilling basis at the bulk buy store. In short, you can actually grab your own container from your home and go to one of these bulk buy store and fill your container with our tabs at store any amount you want and pay for the weight. But what I would like to share with all of you today is the thinking behind Shoe.co, how the product was developed and the process of the thinking behind it, as well as the tool that we use to ensure that our solutions will not create additional problems. That framework being life cycle analysis or LCA and the list view. We can actually talk about this topic all day, but as we only have 1 hour, I would like to sum it up in pretty much 3 steps. And the first steps being understanding the problem. But what actually understanding the problem mean is about the problem you are trying to solve. First of all, before we start creating any new solutions, I would like to invite all of you to revisit your problems and understand them truly and thoroughly. What is the problem you want to work with? What causes the problem? What are the possible ways to solve or minimize damages the problem might cause? So I think this a little bit difficult to imagine. So I would like to take one of the societal, or we can say natural disaster in Thailand as example. I'm not sure if you are familiar with this picture, but it's one of the picture I Google and using the keyword, the northern part of Thailand in the big flood. The northern part of Thailand actually has constantly been challenged by natural disasters, but now more than ever with the effects of climate change, the flood is getting worse year after year. Approximately 3,000 local people lose their houses and properties in the flood. You can actually try to help local people to evacuate faster or help local people to recover faster from the damage of the flood, or help local people to live in resilience even during the flood. So first, they don't have to move, and second, they can reduce potential damages caused by the flood. And this is the one of the example problem that you can try to solve. And these 3 options, evacuate faster and recover faster and also live in resilience, these 3 options can come with different challenges. Thus, the option you choose dictates the objective you want to achieve with your design solution. To clarify, one objective can be achieved through many different solutions. Let's say we choose here to work with helping local people to live in resilience, even during the flood. Here you can, for example, design a low-cost flood-resistant house model. And in this picture is only one example. Or you can develop a flood warning application or system, to give them notification when the flood is coming, or if there is a chance for people to face any kind of natural disaster, this application would warn them in advance. Or you can actually try to engage many different stakeholders and create an urban development plan. You can eventually maybe engage the government to reform the whole area to become a flood-resistant area. This is just three examples of the way to achieve one challenge. And these three innovations serve the same objective, but only with different scales and all require different skills, levels of collaboration, time frame to operate, etc. Now that you have the rough idea of what you're gonna do, it's simple to face. It's actually time to face reality. Would the solution solve the problem or create additional problems? This question brings us to the second steps. The second step being considering the product lifecycle. It's actually, the topic of today, lifecycle analysis and LCA. But actually, we're not going that technical about lifecycle analysis. We are going to talk only about the lifecycle thinking, because actually lifecycle analysis would require, technical skills, a lot of information from production side, and where the product is taken from, where and how far it is. It's actually all affect the amount of carbon footprint that will be generated throughout the life cycle. But today we only talk about the rough concept of product life cycle. And here, before we jump into what product lifecycle is, I would like to invite all of you to join me with a small, quick exercise. And can you please bring up the red pen and share the link with the audience? I believe all of you now have the link to access this page. The question here is, which alternative energy is the most environmentally friendly option and why? You can pin your answer to red pen and type like short comments here. I think we can spare like 3 minutes here for this activity. So if any of you started to answer in red pen, we can actually see on the screen here. I think I can see some people already comment here. So while you're still thinking, I can try to read some comments from Red Pen. The first one from Paulo. A combination of solar and wind is created with the right infrastructure, meaning that the energy is acquired and distributed depending on the local climates and needs of the population. Thank you, Paulo. And this one is from SD, non-polluting sources with solar energy. From Divya, while the initial costs are high, the long-term results are self-sustaining ways to producing energy. And from K, because it is free and abundant. Interesting. I think we can wait 1 more minute just in case anyone is typing or facing difficulties with connection. We found another one here from Kunmai. Wind because it is renewable and lowest cost. Probably. All right. I think, okay, I just got 2 more comments from Kun Sitthichai saying that get energy exactly and on time. He's also with solar energy. And from Kun Nopamon, I just think that we don't need so many artificial things for it with the wind energy. So many different thoughts, but no one is with nuclear. Interesting. Okay, I think it's time to actually move on from the activity because we got quite a bit of thoughts here. So come back to the slide. Considering the product life cycle, actually, I can imagine it's a little bit hard for anyone to firmly say which one is the most eco-friendly option when you don't have the baseline to compare. Hence, I would like to introduce you to the term functional unit. In the next slide, you will see the academic terms of functional units and what does it mean. Actually, functional unit means a measure of the function of the study system, providing a reference to which the inputs and the outputs can be related. This enables comparison of 2 essential different systems. But this, I'm not that academic, so I would just say in my terms, it's about the function of how product is being used. Then the clearer functional unit is defined, the more solid baseline it provides, because theoretically, we can only compare the eco-friendliness of the solution that provide the same functional unit. I mean, how do you compare 2 person? I mean, how do you compare 1 person with another animal or another species? That's not possible, right? You have to compare 2 things with the same, at least baseline. And to give you some easy example, let's go back again to my Shoe.co toothpaste tabs. To which functional unit does it serve? Obviously, toothpaste is for giving a fresh aftertaste from brushing teeth 2 times a day. And to what solution Shoe.co is trying to compete in terms of eco-friendliness? Traditional toothpaste in non-recyclable plastic tube that is widely used nowadays. That's the answer. Now is when product lifecycle analysis come into place. The term product lifecycle analysis here is a little bit different, not actually a little bit, is different from the PLC in the marketing field. We are not only talking about product lifecycle in the market, but we are actually looking into the whole life of the products and services. Just like us human, products and services do not just pop in the air, but they came about with 5 phases. Let's take traditional toothpaste as example here. The first one, extraction. Extraction is actually when we grab raw materials from nature. For paper, is when tree grows. For plastic, is when the organic materials such as zooplankton and algae build up on the bottom of the lakes and oceans in conditions where they couldn't decompose. That's a little bit long, right? The organic matters can change into kerogen, which eventually turn into oil, and through heat and pressure. For toothpaste, extraction phase means when the main ingredients like herbs grow in the farm and the salt is created in hydraulic mining. But traditional toothpaste comes in tubes with at least 7 layers of different materials like PVC, PP, and PE, which are all plastics, but just in different components. And also some aluminum foil. All these materials apparently came from different origins to the factory where the second phase began. The second one, production. Literally, when we put materials into the production process, usually many activities and machines are involved in the production phase, which most of us are not working in factories are rarely aware of it. For toothpaste is when the active ingredients are put in a mixer, mixed with 70% of water according to the research, with some more coloring and flavoring substances. Then the mixture will be injected into the tubes, which are printed with different techniques for marketing purposes. Then again, the tubes are covered with another plastic boxes. Another layer of packaging again are produced with complicated methods. From production to the third phase is distribution, the process of delivering the product to your hands, wherever it came from. Toothpaste doesn't just float from factory into our house, but we all know that boxes of toothpaste are packed in paper cartons, put in the truck and distributed to the storage and wait there to be placed on the shelf of some retail stores. While waiting on the shelf, electricity used in the store for lighting, air conditioning can also be considered as embedded energy of all the toothpaste itself. Some of us might be buying toothpaste from e-commerce platform today. So it's a little bit different here in this phase. But it doesn't mean that we can completely cut off embedded energy. In fact, the embedded energy might be increasing with how we live today. Online products like websites and applications can be extremely energy consuming as well, considering they need electricity to keep the server working, the internet running, and lighting in the back-end office. Not to mention that we need our electronic devices to access to these services. Then from distribution, we here at the use phase is actually when we are brushing our teeth in our bathroom or toilet. The process we are most familiar with is when we use the product. Take a moment to think about how you usually brush your teeth. Do you wash your mouth once or twice before brushing? How about after brushing? How many times do you actually put water into your mouth and spit it off? How long does the toothpaste last before you throw away the tube? A month, or maybe 2 months, 3 months at maximum. All these resources usage would not matter that much if we only brush our teeth once in our life, but apparently we do that at least twice a day, every day until we die. And there are 7 billion people are doing the same. And the most complicated factor here in the use phase is that everyone is doing things differently. We cannot control how user behave. And that's actually the hardest part to actually, assess how much or how big the impact is. And here, the last phase, the end of life, when we can't use the product anymore. Last glance we have on the product is when we stop using it, but actually product life cycle doesn't end in the trash can. If we are lucky, they would be taken to a recycling facility and treated properly. But in our case, toothpaste tube cannot be separated, so they are non-recyclable. Hence, the landfill they go. They will be sitting there for the next 4,000 years, waiting to degrade. Meanwhile, they generate microplastic, which mix with soil and water, spoil our food chain, and eventually go back to us one way or another. Now go back to the question on the red pen IO again. Do you still think the choice you made is the most sustainable option? When you realize that most solar panels are not being recycled because the process is too expensive. There is no safe way to treat water from nuclear power plants. And the biofuel it causes deforestation in Asia and South Africa. Let's take a break here with the technical stuff for a moment, because I know this can be quite overwhelming. And when we look at the system we have nowadays, you might already know that what we have is quite linear. We take natural resources from here, we make stuff, use them, and then we dump everything to the landfill. But in fact, it doesn't have to be that way, because the linear system is man-made, meaning that we can make something different, and we can reduce the environmental impact that we created as well. The question here is, what is something different? Here we are at the third step, developing solutions with the list wheel. Now we are going to talk about how to do the different things, how to actually reduce the environmental impact of the solution that if you already have one, how to create a new solution that wouldn't create more harm to the environment. Here's the list wheel, which stands for Product Lifecycle Design Strategy Wheels. It provides us with 8 strategies of how to go about making our solution more eco-friendly. Easy tips: the earlier phase you tackle, the more environmental impact you can reduce. Allow me to go back to the toothpaste case again. Looking at the current LCA of traditional toothpaste, we can come up with different ways to develop the wheel. Starting with the extraction phase, can we actually develop a completely new concept to eliminate toothpaste from our dental care routine? Maybe in the future. But what Shoeco tries to do now, at least, is to reduce the amount of resources used to make toothpaste. We minimize the formula, keep only active ingredients. By changing them into tablet form, we cut some chemical substances that maintain traditional toothpaste into the paste or gel form. Plus, we cut the paper block from the loop. In the next one, in the production phase, there are 3 possible strategies to consider. First, selection of low impact material. Second, reduction of material usage. And third, optimization of the production technique. In our case at Shoeco, we go with selecting main ingredients from local suppliers first. But to be clear, we cannot completely control all ingredients. But on the other hand, we can cut 100% water usage from our production process. Next in line is the distribution phase, in which the fourth strategy is recommended: optimization of the distribution system. At Shoeco, we mainly sell our products via online channels, meaning we use post boxes for our delivery process, and also sticky tape, and also some of the as our container is a glass jar, we need to put some kind of cushioning inside the post box to make sure that our product reach our customer in one piece. And obviously, plastic bubble is not an option. And fortunately that we have a good relationship with the printing house, and they provide us some paper waste from the printing process to use as the cushioning. So the paper waste is not anymore wasted, but serves as another purpose. Then in the use phase, the fifth strategy is reduction of impact during the use. This can be done in many ways. In our case, we encourage customers to buy taps in glass jar only for the first time, and then refill the new taps in the same jar. So customer can get the refills from the bulk buy stores around Bangkok or subscribe to the membership program and receive the taps in paper sachet every 3 months. With this model, we can keep the same glass jar in the loop longer. And here we are at the end of the product lifecycle. We can either use optimization of the initial lifetime or optimization of the end of life system. And fortunately, glass jar and aluminum cap both can be recycled endlessly without degradation. So we don't necessarily worry about them that much. They can continue being a part of the next product loop, not go directly straight to the landfill. By considering this 8 strategy, we can possibly design endless ways to go about reducing environmental impact of one product. And you might already notice that this is not just about deciding the life cycle of the product itself, but also the services that and the business context around them. Combining LCA and 𝘲𝙧, you can innovate and recheck the impact of your solutions compared to the current one, or actually optimize it to be even more holistically sustainable. One last tips here, if LCA is new to you, you can start with this tool. It's called 𝗏𝑇𝑟𝑖𝑥. I personally find this tool quite helpful. So M stands for materials, and E for energy, T for toxicity. By considering these 3 factors in 5 phases of the product lifecycle can actually help you to get through the concept a little bit easier. And these 3 steps, and actually you don't have to stick with just the physical product. You can actually compare the chat application, which has functional unit as to communicate with the family and friends in daily life in Bangkok. You can use this 𝗏𝑇𝑟𝑖𝑥 to compare maybe Line chat application to WhatsApp or to Telegram. You can compare food delivery application, which with the functional unit of ordering and getting the food from remote restaurant and sent to customer. Or we can actually try to compare and redesign the cleaner manufacturing process. By comparing the old system to your solution, you can be a little bit more sure with your new solution that is not going to add additional problems to the system that we have today. So these 3 steps are what I use when designing solutions. I'm not saying that is the only way nor the best way to do so, but hopefully it helps some of you to come up with great practical ideas that provide solutions instead of creating another problems. And by simply understanding the problem of the context of the problem, applying life cycle thinking, and use the list view to design. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much, 𝘏𝙗𝑙𝑖𝑢. There are many things we can learn from something that's really simple, just as the something you can use to brush your teeth every single day. But there are a lot of things behind that we can consider. Just one product, and when we see one product, we usually buy either online or at the store. We may just see at the very end of the production line, at the very end of the production line. But before that, there are a lot of things that we can consider and we think. Looking back to our hackathon, I think this what Kevalin has just mentioned and just share with us today is really important, because whatever the solution that we're going to think and we're going to innovate these coming weekends on the 7th and the 8th during our Bangkok Climate Change Hackathon. If you're working on something, either hardware or software, this is something you may need to think about as well, that your product or your solution first will not create another problem, and it will also good for you to actually look back how it will contribute to climate change, and not only at the point you produce or at the point you consume, but the whole life cycle of it. Thank you very much, Kevalin. And before we end the session today, last but not least, of course, we always end with some lucky draw. And I think I saw the lucky draw just pop up just now. Thank you for all of your contributions. Anyone who attended right now, then also whoever that write all the comments and play with red pen that we have just shared the link. So those who register and attend, this is the perfect time for you to get your heartbeat raised a bit, and we shall begin the lucky draw. Here we go. Awesome. 𝘾𝙗𝗫, congratulations. Our team will contact you and share with you more detail about this. You're the lucky person today. Thank you for your attendance. And for those who have not yet formed a team, please check your email. We have already sent the email to all of you. Either you have already formed a team or not. This is a perfect time for you to find new team members and prepare yourself to join us in the next 2 weeks. As mentioned online, we will inform you the final participant list within just a couple of days from now. Please feel free to contact us if there is anything. And as Kevalin said, best of luck and good luck, everyone. Have a good night. Thank you.